Alright guys, just San here, back for another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about what I think we could see for part 2 of the 8th year anniversary. Now keep in mind, everything in this video is just speculation. I don't know anything for sure, but I do still want to share my thoughts on what we could see, because we could possibly be having some really hype stuff just around the corner. So I did a poll earlier today asking what you guys want to see for part 2 of the 8th year anniversary. And to no real surprise, Kid Buu just destroyed this poll. And I've got good news for you, 86% of people that chose Kid Buu and Omega Shenron, because I'm pretty sure we would be seeing an LR Kid Buu and Omega Shenron. It just makes the most sense in terms of hypeness and in terms of the theme for part 1. Obviously, it was the Majin Buu Saga Goku and Vegeta, and then the GT Goku and Vegeta. And of course, their enemy for the Majin Buu Saga one was Kid Buu, and then the enemy for the GT one was Omega Shenron. So it makes sense for maybe us to get like a Carnival LR Kid Buu and Omega Shenron for part 2. I don't know for sure if they'd be a Carnival LR, but I feel like that just makes the most sense. So, I mean, yeah, just before we get into them though, I do want to talk about some honorable mentions. So starting off with the Spirit Bomb Goku from the Tournament of Power, I think we might see him just because obviously Spirit Bomb fits the theme of the celebration as well. And boy, does Universe Survival Saga need some buffs. We haven't seen any additions to that team since the 6th year anniversary, right? I'm pretty sure that's the last time we saw some buffs to that category, and that's bad. We really need some buffs for it because we've entered this whole new meta with 200% leader skills and all that, to where we really do need some top tier characters on that category. And of course, if Universe Survival Saga is part 2 of the celebration, it would make sense that we would get a couple Easy A's, maybe 2 Carnival LRs, we could get like a Jiren and then a Spirit Bomb Goku. And touching on the Easy A's a little bit more, there's a lot of potential for some crazy Easy A's. Like AGL Kale and Caulifla could Easy A, Tech Jiren could Easy A, STR UI Goku could Easy A, STR Jiren could Easy A, this guy could Easy A right here. So the potential is there for sure. But I don't think we would see that, but it's still a possibility. And moving on to another honorable mention, we have the Spirit Bomb from the Namek Saga. Now, I don't really think we're going to see this. I think the possibility for this is even less than the Tournament of Power Spirit Bomb. Just because we got Namek Saga not too long ago during the previous year's Worldwide Download Celebration, and then even in the last Worldwide Download Celebration, we did still get some Planet Namek Saga buffs. So it doesn't really make sense that we would get it during the anniversary, but it's still possible, and I'd still like to see it because Planet Namek Saga isn't as good as a category as you would think. I mean, we don't really have that many crazy units on here. We do have Captain Ginyu, who is really good. Of course, we got Captain Ginyu's banner units. And the Full Power Frieza, the LR Full Power Frieza, can be kind of good. I mean, for sure, he's fallen off a lot, but he's still alright. And just some standout units in here, I guess. But overall, it's not really the craziest category. It's just kind of small. So if we got some more additions to this, that would for sure really benefit this category a lot. But I really don't think we would see it, just because, again, it's a little too soon for us to already get to Planet Namek Saga once again. So, alright, just getting into Kid Buu and Omega Shenron now, because that was pretty much all the honorable mentions. I don't really think there's that many possibilities other than any other Spirit Bomb. So I guess maybe the Spirit Bomb Goku from the Turles movie is possible. But other than that, it's pretty much just narrowed down to Kid Buu and Omega Shenron. So what we're going to be doing now is speculating on what I think their kits are going to be looking like and what I think they're going to be able to do. So right here, I have the Kid Buu pulled up. This is the latest Dokkan Festival Kid Buu, and I've got a couple Kid Buus pulled up just because what Dokkan typically likes to do is be pretty consistent with their units. For example, a lot of UI Gokus will have dodge, a lot of Janimbas will have like guard, so it would make sense that they would carry over some things from Kid Buu over to LR Kid Buu, and same thing goes with Omega Shenron. So yeah, just starting off right here, I think something we could see on the LR Kid Buu is a chance to nullify unarmed super attacks. I don't know what the chance would be. They might want to lower it to maybe a high chance, but seeing him nullify unarmed super attacks would make sense just because this guy does it. And another thing I think we could see, well, honestly, if we're getting an LR Kid Buu, this is pretty much guaranteed to happen, is him having some level of HP recovery. Because not only does this Kid Buu recover HP, but this one does as well. And I don't think this guy does. Yeah, no, this guy doesn't recover any HP, but still, it would make sense for him to recover HP because typically Buu units recover HP anyway. So it would really just fit his overall theme if he did recover like, I mean, 20% would be good, but if they really wanted to make it crazy, they could do like 25% or 30%. But yeah, I think HP recovery, maybe him nullifying a super attack, whether it's unarmed or Ki Blast super attacks, would be pretty good. He could build up as well. I think this is the only Kid Buu that does build up, because this guy, yeah, he supports, and this guy, yeah, he supports as well. So he could build up. I don't know if it's guaranteed though, because I think this is the only Kid Buu that does that. But yeah, I mean, other than that, not really too much to talk about. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, okay, so they are supporting as well. So it's possible we could see the LR Kid Buu support, because of course these are not this guy, but these two Kid Buus support. And actually they are pretty crazy supports, at least this guy is. I still see this guy in a lot of showcases even today, and I even use him in some of my showcases just because this is just, that's crazy. That is a crazy level of support. So yeah, I do really think that an LR Kid Buu could be insane. These would pretty much be his categories. I don't really think they would add on any more than this, unless they introduce a new category, which typically they don't do for part 2 of anniversaries, but it's still possible. They've switched up a couple things already. So yeah, seeing a new category is possible. And in terms of his links, I don't really think this is going to change. Obviously, one of these links would be exchanged for legendary power. And other than that, we don't really know anything about his links or categories, other than, well, we do know his categories are most likely going to be this. But in terms of his links, that's pretty much all we know. And he could have an active skill. Maybe we could see him start off as Super Buu, or like Buff Buu or something like that, and then he transforms into Kid Buu. But, I mean, as far as we know right now, it could just be a standalone LR Kid Buu or something like that. And his leader skill is another thing that I forgot to mention. I think maybe, just to play it safe, I would say we would see, I guess, Majin Power get a 200% leader skill across the board. This is me assuming that they would be 200% leader skill across the boards, like the Carnival LRs. But, of course, he might not be. It might just be 170% to 2 categories or something. But I would assume, because it's an 8th year anniversary unit, they would want to give him a usable leader skill. And Majin Power makes the most sense to me, just because this category is pretty bad. I mean, there's no real way around it. This category is just bad. And getting a 200% leader skill would really benefit this. And even getting some easy A's like the Buuhan. Maybe we could even see the Exchange Buu easy A. And then getting a, as I said, new 200% leader skill for this category. And then the new LR Kid Buu. It would be really beneficial. So, I mean, yeah, that is pretty much it with Kid Buu. There's not really much else to speculate because, of course, we don't really even know if we're getting a Kid Buu. So it's kind of difficult to talk about what he might look like. But, yeah, that is pretty much it. So, moving on to Omega Shenron. Now, this guy is a little more difficult because we don't really see Omega Shenron as much as we see Kid Buu's, which is pretty depressing because we barely see Kid Buu. I think the last time we saw Kid Buu was this guy right here. And, I mean, honestly, I don't know how crazy Omega Shenron could be. Because, well, of course he could be really crazy, but there's some things that he does which kind of have me questioning, like, where they would go with it. For instance, Omega Shenron typically lowers enemies' attack and or defense, as we can see in this guy right here. And then this guy right here does also have an attack debuff. So this guy doesn't have it, but this guy isn't just an Omega Shenron. But he does still have some restrictions behind the enemy being in attack down or defense down status. And he does lower attack and defense technically, but it's on his super attack. So it's a little different than these two Omega Shenrons. But I don't know, because typically units that lower attack and defense just aren't really built as good. And I know that sounds weird because they could still technically build them however they want, but it's kind of a weird thing to have because in most events now, lowering attack and defense doesn't really do anything for you. That's only really going to benefit you in Super Battle Road. And the way events are shifting right now, Super Battle Road isn't really, like, key. Don't get me wrong, units that are good for Super Battle Road are still really good overall, but we need, like, stacking and stuff like that now, so they're good for long events, because it's pretty obvious Dokkan is trying to shift towards longer events. So, yeah, I mean, we got Omega Shenron right here. For sure, I mean, lowering attack and defense is possible. We could see him build up as well, because this Omega Shenron does build up. This guy has additionals, so maybe we could see him have some additionals. And, I mean, maybe we could even see support, because this guy is supporting as well. But the potential is there for Omega Shenron to do a lot of things. But the only thing that I would say we should expect is maybe him lowering attack and or defense. So starting off on his categories, though, kind of limited. Not really as many options compared to Kid Buu. We have Shadow Dragon Saga, Full Power, Inhuman Deeds, Power Absorption, and GT Bosses, and then Battle of Fate. So, I mean, again, maybe they could introduce a new category. I highly doubt it, but it's possible they could, and then he could be really good on that team. But for now, the only real team you're going to run him on is GT Bosses, and, yeah, this isn't really a good category per se. So, there is a lot of things they could do with Omega Shenron, but I don't know how crazy they could go with his categories. We would need a lot more buffs to GT Bosses, and so far, all we've got was the banner unit Ice and Nova, and they're not even all that crazy. Now, in terms of his links, it's the same thing with the Kid Buu. One of these would be exchanged for Legendary Power, and, I mean, yeah, other than that, that is pretty much it. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Kind of a shorter video, but there's not really as much to talk about just because, obviously, we don't really know what's going on for Part 2, so it's harder to speculate on what these units could look like. But if I had to bet who I think we could see, I would say seeing a LR Mega Shenron and then a LR Kid Buu is highly likely. So, yeah, that has been the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys want to see for Part 2 of the 8th year anniversary, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.